I made $60,000 in commission in 1 month as a random black guy from Iowa, and I'm going to show you exactly how. So as you can see here, this is the amount that was paid to me that month. We did 62,884 in commission after chargebacks. It was $61,931. You can see the closing rate, follow-up close rate, not actual, is usually a mix. So this is a mix of the way that they tracked it was a mix of follow-up and the actual deals that you close as well. But high commission months can be broken down into one simple equation that I stand by until the end of time, which is process times volume equals money. So today we'll be talking about the process behind the volume that allowed me to have months like this. And to be clear, I'm not someone that to tell you I did this every month throughout my whole career. In the $18 million of cash collected I sold, there's about 2 to 3 million of it that I was just never paid. And past that, there were times where I let my standard slip, but this video is to show you what's required to hit a $60,000 month so that you can do the same. So let's start here first. The day before, what you want to do is you should have some form of pre-call material. So no matter what you sell, and if you treat this as if you're talking to a cold audience every time, you'll do better. The reason I say that is the way someone treats warm and the way they treat cold is completely different. But if you treat those same warm customers as if they're completely cold, they need to get a better understanding of you, you most likely will convert at a much higher rate. And also, they will come in a lot more informed. So what I mean is if you show up to the call not having sent any form of pre-call materials, leads in turn will, one, not show up to the call, two, come with far too many questions, three, come with far more objections, and four, come potentially wholly unqualified as well. So what needs to happen is we need to get this lead hot and ready before the call. So how do you actually do this? Well, there's this thing called pre-call pages that I do. And with pre-call pages, here's an example. I'll have it here linked. The Google Doc will be in the description as well. But in the pre-call pages, basically, this is a 60-second video that I would personally record. So I deleted all the Wistia links since I'm not on this offer anymore. But basically, this would be video that I record, welcoming them in, introducing myself, stuff like that. And then past that, there's just a ton of different client testimonials that will be here as well, where people can obviously see all of the different results that we have too. So essentially, it would just show like progress in all the different ways that people have been able to kind of transform themselves as well. And this is something that I personally made for this offer to just show proof that, hey, this works. And if someone scrolls through this like completely, there's just no way that they don't believe that this thing will work for them. So that's essentially step one, is a pre-call page. And to do a disclaimer, I did not do $60,000 on this offer. The max I did was about 10 to 15K in a month. So this page should do three separate things. It should let them know who the call is for and what we'll be doing. Two, it should allow them to find people just like them and as many as possible to break any limiting beliefs that this won't work for them. And three, it should disqualify lots of tire kickers to see, like, to see this is a serious thing that gets results and money will be expected of you on the call. I purposely choose testimonials where people are like, yeah, it was expensive. Yeah, like I, had this concern when I was coming in and it got resolved with this, different stuff like that, so that all objections and everything can be broken down by customers who are real proof that this thing works. Now, what this will actually do for you is one, your calls will be easier and far more compliant. Two, you'll have quicker calls as well due to you having more informed prospects. And three, you're going to have more cancellations, but you're going to make more money per call. So my cash per book call on this offer was $1,000 plus, meaning if you get 10% comp, this offer was anywhere between, I believe, 8 and 14%, depending on what revenue you are at. I'll get paid at least $100 just for taking the call. So it's nice. You get to come in mind and say, hey, I make money just for showing up to these calls. And you do based on this metric. So I just kind of want to show you some examples of some results on this offer as well. And again, you'll have access to this, but this is me slamming 4 deals back to back. This is me doing almost $25,000 in revenue in one day. This is me showing you genuine proof. Like, yes, I did have $1,000 per call here. This is another one where I did 5 pips in one day. This is one where my team as a whole did 45K in cash collected, and I pretty much attributed to half of that. I think it was like $23,000 or $25,000 for that one. Real quick, so if you are in high ticket sales and you are absolutely struggling with discovery, you don't know what to do during objections, or just your pitch is a little bit shaky. Overall, if you are having issues when it comes to taking money from your prospects, I want to help you. So what I want to show you is basically an entire school community that I have of closers who are there to excel and there to do better. So if you want help from discovery, pitch, objections to just general key skills, follow up, referrals, anything that you can think of, landing roles when it comes to real sales mastery, there is help for you in this free school community. And then there's also essentially a calendar of coaching calls that you can actually join as well, where we will help you directly to improve your sales. We'll role play, we'll do call reviews, pretty much everything that you would need to be successful in sales. Okay. So if you want to join that, you'll also be able to see some of my live sales calls. Just click the link below and I'll see you there. Bye bye. And then past that, this was two 12-month deals on this offer. That would be like a 20K day there. And then past that, this is me being first on the team that I was on, and kind of another 3 deals, another 3 deals here. Past that, another 2 deals here for the same day, another 5 deals this day, another 5 deals this day as well. Basically, it's just showing you, hey, proof is in the pudding. This stuff works. These are kind of some of the numbers from the month in terms of the close rate. Offer had an average, I think, of like a 9 or 11% close at the time as well. But yeah, so now let's talk about what to do on the actual calls. Now that you kind of have one, let them know who the call is for and what we'll be doing on it. You've two, allowed them to find people like them and as many people as possible to break any limiting beliefs that this won't work for them. And 3, you've disqualified any tire kickers. So you've done as much as possible to maximize your day. So for call management, you want to book as many as you can mentally handle. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not, the guy that says, hey, make a block for follow up. Statistically, there will be no shows. So I don't make any blocks for follow up. So if you can handle 10 calls, open 10 slots. If you can handle 12 calls, open 12 slots. Now, a lot of you might not know what you can actually handle, and you won't believe how simple it is to actually figure that out. And the first piece is to start at 4 calls a day. So if you start at 4 calls a day, measure your close rate over 30 days. And then the third thing is increase your calls by 1 to 2 a day every 2 weeks until you notice your process being less efficient. What I mean by process is your actual, your discovery, your pitch, your objections, your mental bandwidth within calls. The moment you start noticing that dipping down, you probably need to revitalize some things, because once you start hitting that, that is your efficiency cap, and you want to be efficient, because I would rather have a high close rate and an AOV, like as high of a close rate and an AOV as possible, rather than a low close rate, pumping a ton of volume and feeling emotionally drained at the end of each day and hoping that, my next call no shows because I don't feel like having conversations. So if you are experiencing that, it's super common, but the way to fix it is you need to reduce your call volume by 25 to 50% and then work your way up to something a lot more manageable, where your bandwidth is like, yes, it's challenging for the day, but it's not putting you in a place where you just hate speaking to people. So now that we are live in the day, I have a few tips for you. Send a confirmation text the day of, even if they confirmed the other day and they said, oh, wow, thanks for sending that pre-call page through. You definitely want to say, hey, name, do you have our Zoom link? Not something where it says, hey, can you still make it? Because if you go through the route of like, hey, can you still make it? It gives them an out. A lot of people, sometimes they get a little nervous, don't want to show up to the call, or if you're a little bit more authoritative, do you have the Zoom link? This will help your show rate a little bit and kind of result in you not running into as many issues. So if there's no response at least an hour before the meeting, call them and confirm. If they do not confirm or they don't pick up, you can't reach them, I'd recommend opening things. So this is where a lot of extra money is to be made, because you're not going to hit 60K plus without doing these activities. And I can promise you that. Any month where my standards dropped and I didn't do these, I did not have a very high performing month. But these are also levers that make your income a lot more consistent as a sales rep, because you're not just reliant on inbound as well. So we're looking at this, you should probably do this in order, is what I would recommend. So the first thing is free up that slot for an inbound potential booking. So an inbound lead could book in that is fresh. The second thing is ask in channels if anyone has a call that needs taking, or if you know there's people who kind of don't follow this rule here and they're past their efficiency cap and you notice them kind of brushing off calls all the time, just reach out and ask if they don't want to take their next call. Like if you do that, they'll most likely give it to you. It won't be a problem, and they can transfer it to you and you get a free lead. So you get to fill that slot pretty much immediately. If that doesn't work, then call anyone in the past who closed and ask for referrals, whether it's your lead or someone else's lead or a deactivated closer's lead or someone that's just not working the lead, doesn't have a task set for it. You can easily call that person, see how they're doing within the program, and then say, do you know anyone else who, we can help with something like this. Also, a great tip is doing that at the end of your calls, is asking for referrals. Easy way to do it is just being like, hey, so usually when people start the program, they like to bring a friend as like an accountability buddy. Do you have any friends that would also be interested in joining something like this? Easy way to get referrals, easy way to pump through more deals. I promise you, like referrals and follow-ups as a whole have probably almost made me more money than one call closes as a whole, which is really crazy to think. But I think based on the stats, that is statistically true. The next piece is call anyone who no-showed or canceled and see if they can actually fill the slot. So anyone who no-showed in the past, just try and call them, get them on the Zoom, and I'll say, hey, do you have time to actually hop on now? I noticed you weren't able to make it then. Then at that point, you can get them in. If you can't get them in a day, best thing to do is to book them for another day, because then you get someone active for the next day. Same thing with cancellations. The last piece is call anyone who you or another closer couldn't close in the past and reactivate them. So this is just general follow-up of checking out people are doing, sending testimonials, just regularly being active in the pipeline to try and create some money. And you do this in this order because the goal is to make money this hour. And this is what has had the highest likelihood of success for me in terms of order of probability of getting a close or generating revenue or doing a revenue generating activity. So if you have done all this and nothing is left, I mean, I guess you can go watch YouTube, role play, or just chill. But if this isn't done, know that you are leaving thousands of dollars on the table. Now, a few reminders for you. Please take care of your health. I promise you will perform better. I got to a point where my health was completely neglected and every hour was spent selling. And as a byproduct, my numbers went down completely. So when we're looking at nutrition, fitness, social life, these are all aspects that go into high performing months, and you need to upkeep these, because if you feel good and you look good, I promise you, you will do a lot better in terms of your performance. Now, another thing, I promise you, is you can still work 12 hours a day and take care of yourself. It just requires focus. So if you're someone where you're trying to do a million things, you're trying to sell, you're trying to do this thing, you're trying to do this thing. Selling is a place where if you want to make money, make the money and that's it. Like, don't do anything on the side. Don't do anything else. Make your fucking money. And that's it. Like, don't try and do a million things, because the moment you try and do a million things, you start to degrade. Like on this offer, for example, my performance, I feel like I could have done a lot better than 10 or 15K a month on this offer. But realistically, that's all I could do because I was split so many different ways with managing, realistically placing reps on businesses and coaching reps one-on-one. All I could do with the few hours that I had each week was to generate 10 or 15K a month in income for myself, which essentially, I just didn't maximize the potential on that offer. So my recommendation for you is, if you're in sales, plan to be in sales for a certain period of time, figure out what your exit strategy is, because if you have an exit strategy and you see kind of an out, you will go super hard for that 2, 3, 4, 5 years that you're planning to be in sales and then moving to your next thing. I also recommend just stacking cash now, because of the way that AI is moving, who knows what's going to happen to sales roles. But a few tips for you is to start running. It's amazing for discipline and making large tasks feel really easy, and a great way to actually challenge yourself. Shout out to Eric. He's one of my one-on-one clients. He got me into running. It is amazing. I love it. He got me into running. It is absolutely amazing. The next piece is get a performance coach. Accountability is great no matter who you are. You show up better, you do better. It is what it is. You will feel better, especially if you have people to report to. If you only have yourself to report to, it's a lot harder. Or you can join a community. That's for free. And then the last piece is track every single one of your numbers diligently. So you will never become a top performer without tracking your numbers. And you really just want them on a stat sheet where you can see them. You can see your largest weaknesses, everything like that. This is a simple video, but it's also super actionable. So if you want help improving your sales for absolutely free, join my free school community. The link is in the description. It is www.school.com/stoic/about. And in there, obviously, you can see the different things that you get. I'll get you ramped up within 14 days. Again, all of this is completely free for what you get: niche scripts, discovery, pitch, objections, bonus content, like everything you could possibly need as a sales rep. And obviously, you can see here, it works. So again, link in the description. I hope this video was helpful, and hopefully, just like the random black guy from Iowa that made $60,000 in 1 month, I hope you can do the same if you can. If not, it's unfortunate, brother. But either way, I wish you guys the best, and I'll see you on the next video.